I'm here in my kitchen with the ingredients for baked macaroni and cheese. So I have some flour, which I use to thicken the sauce. I have some milk, you know, because you need milk for the cheese sauce. I have some raw cheddar cheese. So I use cheddar cheese that are like, I don't just use the cheddar cheese that's orange, so I kind of mix it. And then right here I have some smoked cheddar. I have 2 packs of elbow macaroni. I have butter because I use butter in my cheese and milk mix. And I have a little pepper, and I have some kosher sea salt. So let's get started. Okay, in my saucepan I have about 3 tablespoons of butter that's melting, and I have my heat on about medium. So I don't want the butter to melt all the way, just enough, because I don't want to like really cook the butter. So now I'm going to add about 3 to maybe 4 tablespoons of flour, and this is going to be used to thicken up my milk. So here's my 3 tablespoons of flour, and now I'm just going to get my little stirrer wooden spoon and just kind of like stir all of this up together. So this is kind of what you want it to look like. It looks like some kind of weird paste, I know. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my milk, and depending on, like, you know, if you're making a small amount of macaroni and cheese or a big amount, you would, right here I'm adding 2 cups of milk. So this is just regular whole milk. You can use half and half, or you know, you can use heavy cream if you want. I'm going to turn the heat down, probably about medium low, and I'm just kind of going to give this a stir. And I know you're like, oh my gosh, this looks so lumpy and clumpy. Why is that? So at this point, you want to get out your whisk and just really keep whisking this, because you want the little clumps of the flour butter to become like a smooth mix. Now you can see my mix again. Now just whisk. I'll use the whisk, and it probably took me maybe about a minute, so it's not that bad. You don't really see any of the lumps. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep stirring this, because what the flour is going to do, it's going to thicken my milk. So I want to thicken this first before I add my cheese chunks, okay? So here we are again. Oops, sorry about that. Now I've probably been stirring this for about 5 minutes, and I don't know if you can tell, but you see how that moves? This is a lot thicker, and see how this like coats the spoon? So all I used was about 3 tablespoons of butter, 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, and 2 cups of milk. Now you can add more milk once you put the cheese in, which is typically what I do, but I like to thicken up my milk first. And when you do this, you don't have to add those processed cheeses, because you're trying to get a smooth and creamy texture for your cheese base. Okay, right here I have my cube cheese. This is raw cheddar, and this is smoked cheddar, and I'm just going to add all of these to my my milk and flour and butter that's on the stove. Okay, so the mixture is how I want it. So now I'm just adding in this right here, and at this point you're not going to just want to add this and then let it go. You're going to want to keep stirring this, because you know, you don't want your cheese to burn or anything like that, because your sauce, your cheese sauce, is, you know, that is your macaroni and cheese. So ooh, lost one almost, no biggie. So now I'm going to give this a stir. So see that? So I'm just stirring. I haven't added any seasonings yet, any salt or any pepper. I do that at the end. But look at how thick my cheese sauce is now. So I'm just going to let the cheese melt down for maybe about a minute, and then I'm going to add about another cup or another 2 cups of milk. Like I said, it depends on, oh, and the cheese, this is about 1.5 pounds of cheese. So it depends on how cheesy you like your macaroni, or like I said before, You know, like if it's just like for a small family of like 2 or 3, or you know, if you're doing kind of like the family reunion size, or you're taking it for a potluck or something like that. So now I'm going to add about another cup or 2 cups of milk. Okay, so now I'm adding in another 2 cups of milk, and I'm going to give this a stir. And as you can see, the cheese is starting to melt into the sauce. I still have the sauce, my fire on medium-low, so I'm just kind of giving this gentle stirs, and the cheese is starting to melt really nicely into the milk and butter flour mix. Okay, so you can even add more milk to this if you want, but I kind of, you know, I like to see how my milk, how my mixture is going to be before I just, like, you know, I don't want to water it down too much. So I'm going to continue to let the cheese melt, and we're going to go from there. Now in this pot right here, I have my macaroni noodles. I already brought the water to a boil. I have 2 12-ounce packs of elbow macaroni noodles, and like I said, it depends on, you know, how many people you're feeding. One thing about cooking the noodles, please cook them according to whatever your package instructions are, but also keep in mind that once you cook the macaroni noodles, you're not going to immediately serve it and, you know, give it to your family or guests. You're going to then bake this in the oven for about, you know, 25 to 35 minutes. So you want to make sure the noodles are not overdone, because, you know, you don't want like squishy, soggy macaroni and cheese. So like if your packaging says, you know, cook it for like, you know, 12 minutes or 10 minutes, you might want to cook it for like, you know, 7 or 8. But, you know, kind of check. You don't want it crunchy, but, you know, you don't want it like overly done, because it's still going to cook once you put it into the oven. Okay, here's the cheese sauce just doing its thing. And look at that. You can hardly even see any cheese chunks. You can feel some, but now if you like your sauce to have like little bites of if you like your macaroni to have like little bites of like cheese in it, by all means take this off of the fire and just wait for your macaroni noodles to cook. But if you like for your cheese sauce to be like super smooth like butter, then you know, just keep stirring it and keep letting it melt. Okay, so I'm taking my sauce off of the fire because this is how I like mine. So I don't mind if there are like a few little, you know, little bits of cheese in there, because I kind of like that. So I'm going to take it off of the fire. I'm going to turn off the eye, and I'm going to take it off of the heat because I don't want it to still cook. And it's at this point I'll add a little bit of salt and pepper, not too much, because I don't know what it's going to be like once I add the noodles in there. So just a little bit of salt and pepper, like a pinch here, a pinch there, and then we'll wait for the noodles to finish cooking. Okay, so I have my noodles here that I'm going to drain, and then I'm going to place them in a large baking pan. Okay, so our noodles are drained, and in this fairly large baking dish. And now the only thing I'm going to do is take my cheese sauce and pour it down over the top. Unfortunately, I'm going to need both of my hands to do this because this sucker is pretty heavy. Okay, so I'm not doing anything special, just pouring that down over the top. Ooh, sorry about that. And now I'm going to mix this to make sure all those yummy noodles are coated. Okay, so I'm just kind of giving this a stir. Not too rough. Just, you know, I just want to make sure that all the noodles are nice and coated. You know, there's a few pieces of cheese in there that aren't fully melted, but just like really like semi melted, not like super hard. So I kind of like it like that. And if you want to be like extra fancy, you can grade whatever, you know, like some smoked cheddar or, you know, some Gouda or something like that, and just sprinkle it down over the top before you put it in the oven. You know, or you can like chop up a bunch of mini pieces of you know, cheese and kind of sprinkle it throughout the inside. You know, just all depends on how you like it. So I'm just doing the simple basic version of this. So now I have my oven on 350 degrees, and because my pan is a fairly large size, I'm going to put this in the oven probably for about maybe 25 minutes before I check it. And then, you know, because you want this to be like, technically this is done because the macaroni's cooked and, you know, you made your cheese sauce, but, you know, we kind of want this to be set. So this is what it looks like. My camera, sorry, is really not. Let me turn on this oops, sorry about that, this light over here, and see if that does any better. But this is pretty much what it looks like before I place it into my 350 degree oven. So we have that baby into the oven, and we'll be back to check in about 25 minutes. Here's my macaroni and cheese, and oops, sorry about that. So I just kind of want to show what it looks like. It's nice, and you know, it had a chance to mold together, and you know, it has a nice crust on top, not too crusty, you know, where it's like burnt. But so get a little close up of that. Nice and hot and fresh from the oven, made with real cheese, no pasteurized cheese or, you know, any of that other fake stuff. So there is my baked macaroni and cheese recipe. This is how I learned how to make macaroni and cheese from watching my mother. So hope you enjoyed, and you know, let me know if you give it a try. Bye.